If you're a spa owner who wants to build a business that pays you well, runs without you, and grows with intention, then this is the podcast for you. Hey, I'm Amanda, a spa owner, esthetician, and spa consultant, and this is the SBA Business Podcast. Let's turn your spa into the business you always knew it could be with strategy, profit, and automation. Enjoy today's episode. Hey, really quick before we get started, I'm hosting a free live masterclass twice a month for the rest of 2026, and I would love to see you there. We're going to be talking about hiring your first esthetician, getting more clients, raising your prices, and so much more. There's an hour for each of these live masterclasses, and there will be a live Q&A at the end, just so that you know. And if you want in, all you've got to do is show up live, grab your spot, click the link down below. You can also go to my website and click the big button at the top that says Live Masterclass, and then choose the class that you want to attend. You can attend one of them, you can attend all of them. The purpose is just for it to be of incredible value to you, to help you to move the needle in your business in the direction that it needs to be going. So I look forward to seeing your beautiful face there. Let's get right into today's episode. Hey, spa owner, welcome back. Today is going to be an episode that I feel like is very much needed because I'm hearing a lot of talk about what is the difference between strategy and system and automation and all these things, right? So they kind of all sometimes get used interchangeably, but I want to make sure that you understand what I mean when I say them. And I just want to clear up these three words that sometimes can get used interchangeably. So they're not the same thing, for sure. Systems, automation, and strategy. If you mix these up, like almost every spa owner does, it feels like, then you can end up automating some things that aren't meant to be automated, and vice versa, right? Maybe building a system that nobody really follows or needs or wants, and then calling it a strategy, right? So we just want to make sure that we're using all of the things that we know in our head in the right way and working smarter, not harder. So let's get really clear on what all three of those things are and how they work together. And then we can just keep going about our day and continue building our boring businesses. So let's start with systems. This is the one that I feel like people get wrong the most. A system is a repeatable process. It's typically in the form of a protocol, and it's what a human does. It follows maybe a step-by-step checklist. It's not fancy. It's not always software. It might include software, but the human is the one running it. So the exact way that you do something every single time so that the outcome doesn't depend on the person who is doing it. So a system is how you do something, typically by a human. So think about your new client intake, and if every esthetician on your team greets a new client differently and asks different questions every single time and explains your policies in their own way, that's not really a system. That's more like improvising. And a system is a checklist, a flow or a protocol or a script. It's how you do something, and it's the process in which you do it. And it's the order that you do it that's important, right? Let's say your front desk is having a really, really bad day. Now, we don't want to bring our personal life into work, but it happens. It happens. We are in a very personalized, energetic human industry, but we want to make sure that the client that's coming in is still getting the same great experience, because the system, the protocol, is it's doing all the heavy lifting. It's carrying all the weight, not the person's mood that day. Although it does have a really big influence, right? If someone is smiling versus if they're not, or if somebody is, making eye contact or not. Those are the little things. But if it's part of the system to greet the person with eye contact and their first name, and a smile on your face. If that's the system when someone walks in the door, then you can't really mess it up. And it should be the same every time, right? Okay, now let's talk about automation. I feel like a lot of people are getting this confused with AI, which stands for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can automate things for you. It can do things automatically, but an automation is different from a system because it runs in the background with little to no human involvement, if at all. No person has to remember anything or has to click a button or, do anything. It just happens. It just happens in the background. It's very passive. A really big, issue or misconception that I see a lot with spa owners who are trying to include automation. And it's a really big part why the SBA this podcast, it's why I chose to make the A in SPA automation, is because I have this, and I've said this since I opened my business in 2018. I want to be able to pay somebody a 40-hour work week salary, but they're only working 30 hours. And that's because the extra 10 hours are being maintained and carried by technology, by some type of automatic thing. This could be in the form of your appointment reminders from your booking software. That's automatic. It is maybe something that will go out to the client so that they can fill out the form. It could be an email sequence once they get onto your, onto your booking software, but then also into your newsletter. Or it could also be once your booking software sees that, Jane Doe booked an appointment for a brow wax or for a facial, then it automatically, without human intervention, will start some type of process. And we know that a process is a system. That's right. So, can you tell I have a 2-year-old? Yes, good job. Very good. So, an automation is something that just happens. A lot of people will use a social media scheduling app, or even using Meta itself to automatically post things onto Instagram and Facebook. That's a great example of something that is an automated system. It's an automation. So oftentimes spa owners will get confused and try to automate something as if it were a system without it having a system. So you cannot automate something that does not already have a system to it. So they'll maybe automate a review request, but the actual client experience that led up to a 5-star review was never nailed down in the first place. So now you've just automated asking for a review that nobody wants to leave even faster. So even though you don't have to do the upfront work, without the system in place that gets the review that you're striving for, you're going to really struggle to get reviews. So if you're starting to notice, or if you've noticed in the past, wow, I'm asking people for reviews, but they're not giving them to me, this might be one of the reasons. There's actually quite a few other reasons. We have an awesome rate of review completion. And it's because I'm so proud of this, because I feel like we just uncovered something golden in my spa, and it's been incredible. So one of the things that we saw and noticed is the review asking protocol, the system, the automation. And now we're going to adjust and adapt. And when we did do that, it worked really well. So the relationship matters here. Automation should take a system that already works and enhance it. It will remove the human from having to trigger the system, like the appointment reminder text. That is a system. We remind clients 24 hours before. They get the automated text or email or whatever they opted in for, so that nobody on your team has to manually do this every single day. So if you are not already having a lot of automated things going off in your business, like your emails, or a really, really popular one that has just been working really well for a lot of people is ManyChat. If you are not using ManyChat, or if you've never heard of it, it's basically whenever somebody says, if you want the recipe for this, comment, meatballs down below, and I'll send it right to you. And then if you notice, when you make that comment in the comments, it immediately will send you a DM. That's from ManyChat, because they partner with Instagram to make that happen. So that's an awesome, awesome way that you can automate things in your business to basically do the work for you, so that you don't have to go into any of your platforms and then scan through every single comment and DM and reply and all the things. Okay, so now let's talk about strategy. And the difference between a system and automation is the strategy behind it. So it's the piece that sits kind of above both of these other two words. The strategy is the decision-making step. It's the how, and it's the what, and it's the why. Okay, so strategy decides the process before anything even exists. So what your spa is going to be known for, who you're serving, where you're putting your energy into the next quarter or year. So a scenario that I constantly see is an owner who builds this beautiful spa, and they create a really well-oiled system for a service that doesn't really fit where the business is going anymore. Maybe they are super passionate. So like I recently had a gal who was becoming known for Brazilian waxing, but she wanted to be known for a nervous system reset. And so she, that requires a strategy. The system runs really well, right? She has a ton of great Brazilian clients. It's just that the system is running towards the wrong goal. That's a strategy problem. And a lot of people think that it's the system that is causing the issue, but it's actually the strategy. It's your marketing strategy. It's your sales strategy, right? So the strategy is how it's happening, and the system is what is happening. Strategy has to come first, and it decides the destination of where you're going. Systems are kind of like the roads that you build to get you there, and then automation is how everything gets to run on its own, so that you're not micromanaging everything at every single intersection of this figurative road system that I just described to you, this traffic. So you don't have to manage it all by yourself. So before you build one more system or automate one more thing, ask yourself, does this even serve the direction that I'm trying to take my business? So if you're not sure, that's a sign that your strategy might need some attention first. So I think the main thing that I want you to remember is that a system is a repeatable process that a human runs, and an automation takes a working system and removes the human from having to trigger it. And then the strategy is the decision-making layer that determines which system and automation is even worth building in the first place. So make sure that you do things in the right order. First strategy, then system, then automation, and you should be golden. It just rolls downhill from there. So that's all I got for you today. It's really short and sweet, but I'm hoping that it's something that you're going to think about the next time that you start working on your business instead of in it. And if this helped you to see your business a little bit differently, then please go ahead and hit subscribe. I don't want you to miss the next one that I have coming next week. And if you've got 60 seconds, a review really, really helps my show reach more spa owners that need this kind of help. So I'm really excited to talk about what is next for next week. and I hope you are too. So until then, keep building something boring and beautiful, and I will see you in the spa. If you enjoyed this episode, then you'll really enjoy my free training where I show you the exact system that I use in my own spa to pay myself more. Head on over to amandaluisaconsulting.com/more to download today. I'll see you next week on the SBA Business Podcast.